morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing today? I hope you are doing absolutely fantastic. Today we are going to be tilling my grandmother up a little garden that she wants me to do. So we are going to be pulling the old tiller out of the barn. We're going to be hooking it to the Mahindra 5035 tractor. And we will be tilling right over there. So without further ado, let's get the barn opened up. Let's get the tractors and stuff pulled out, get the tiller hooked up, and we'll get right to it. All right? Okay, guys, so there are two things that we have to do. Well, maybe three things that we have to do before we can get the Mahindra tractor right back there hooked up to our tiller. We have to move our Kubota RTV Gator. Well, I know it's not an actual Gator, but we've had an old Gator, so we just call this the Kubota Gator, okay? That's what we call it. We have to move this out of the way. Then we have to get the 8-foot pull-behind bush hog unhooked from the Mahindra tractor. Then we have to use the Kubota tractor to pull the tiller out into the path here, like out into the main section of the barn, because I can't get hooked up to the tiller with the Mahindra where it is right now without hitting one of the beams or the main posts for the barn. So, yeah, so we have to move this, unhook the bush hog, and pull it out with the Kubota tractor, and then we should be able to get it hooked up to the Mahindra. So, alright guys, let's just get right into it. The next step on the agenda is to get our little Kubota tractor fired up here, and we're going to move the tiller out from where it's sitting so that I can hook it up to the Mahindra. So we'll see if this Kubota wants to start. Fired right up. All right. Okay guys, so as you can see, we got the tiller moved. It is now out there. We just have to move the Mahindra out around her about right there to hook her up to the 3-point. And we have to grab the other piece of the 3-point drive shaft, which is laying right there. So I'll get to moving the Mahindra and we'll get this started. All right. Okay guys, so we got the tiller all hooked up to the Mahindra. And it was a big pain in the butt because I got all of the 3-point hitch stuff hooked on first, and then I tried hooking the PTO shaft up, and then and then it wouldn't go on because there wasn't enough space. So then I had to disconnect all the 3-point stuff, get the PTO shaft hooked up, and then I had to reattach all of the 3-point hitch stuff. So, but guys, we still need to go grab the pins that go in these three little. We need to grab the pins that go in the pins. We're going to take our Kubota Gator down to our one barn and steal them off of our other bush hogs. So that's what I'm going to do real fast, and I'll catch back up with you guys in just a second. All right. One, two, three. These are too big. The only one that's going to work is that tiny one. But let's see if I can get the other ones to work up here or something. Alright, so this one will work up here. That's good. Now let's hope that this guy... No, it's not. It's too small still, so I guess we're going to have to run that one without a pin. Or we can steal this pin real fast, just for the time being. I'm just going to steal this guy. put it in here, like so. And there we go. Now we don't have to worry about it falling off. So we got our garden laid out. We got our attachment hooked up. Now all we have to do is get the tractor started up and head on over there. So let's get to it. All good back there. So guys, the section that we are going to be tilling is marked out by this blue line that goes all the way around, comes to about there, and runs back to here. It's going to be 3 posts wide by about 12.5 feet out this way. Just got to grab my keys here. And guys, I think I'm going to turn that 3-point down a little bit more so the tiller is more like this. Do that real fast. Wrong way. It didn't make much of a difference, but it might make it a little better. Now guys, this thing hasn't been turned on in probably 5 to 8 years. So I'm just gonna turn it on real fast and make sure everything's good. Do a little walk around while it's spinning nice and slow to make sure we don't have any issues. Now guys, it's a good thing I did that, because if I would have just hopped on and revved it up, I would have realized that I didn't have this hooked up, and that would have been a very bad day. That could have came and hit me in the face or hit someone that was around me in the face. I haven't used a piece of equipment in a long time. It's always a good idea to just have it start up nice and slow and do a quick little walk around to make sure nothing's going wrong. So we found out that that was not hooked up, so I'm just gonna turn it on again and do another little walk around to make sure everything's good. So okay, that looks all right. Okay guys, everything looks good, so I guess we're just gonna rev it up a little faster and give it a whirl and see how it does. We attempted to make our first pass, and I gotta adjust the tiller because it's not, even when I drop the 3-point hitch as low as it'll go, it still doesn't bite in. That was just where one of the legs was dragging. So let me show you the adjustment here and we'll get to it. So I gotta loosen these bolts. I actually have to take these bolts out and slide this up so then the tiller's deeper in the ground, because right now it's not even biting at all. So we'll get that adjusted and we'll try it again. Gotta love life out here on the farm, guys. There's always something to fix, always something to adjust, always something to tinker with. We'll get her done nonetheless. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is the next day after we got the garden tilled up. I'm sorry I didn't film me actually using the tractor and using the tiller and actually tilling, but I don't have a tripod, and I tried setting it in the grass to some sort, but then the grass blades just got in the way. And then I just ended up having to just get it done. So I'm sorry I didn't film that. I probably won't be filming that kind of stuff until I actually get a tripod. I know they're not that expensive, but when you just don't feel like spending the money, you just don't feel like spending the money. So that's kind of where I'm at. But we did end up getting the garden all tilled up and stuff. So I'm standing right next to it. And right now we are using our little Kubota tractor to grab some of our old composted manure and put it on the garden, which should and then I'm going to hook the tiller back up to the tractor in the next few days or something and till all of that manure into the soil, which should give us some really nice planting soil to plant stuff in. But I'll show you guys the garden here. So as you can see, the tiller did a pretty good job of getting it all chopped up and stuff. I mean, this stuff isn't the finest stuff in the world, but it is still fairly fine. I mean, it's not great, but it's a heck of a lot better than having to do the whole thing by hand. I did end up having to make a few adjustments on the tractor and the tiller, actually. At first, I started out with the tractor in mid-range second gear, which it isn't super fast, but it's not super slow either. And I went one pass, and the tiller literally just chopped the grass, like chopped the sod, like that first sod layer right off, and that's really all it did. And I tried going over it again to see if it would change, and it didn't. So then I had to lower the tiller down to like a medium setting, and that worked better, but I still kept the tractor in the same gearing, and it wasn't as fine as I wanted. So then I lowered the tiller as far down as it could go and put the tractor in low range first gear, and it was just crawling and just chewing this stuff up. I mean, it was chopping it up good. So that ended up being the best situation and best gearing setup for the garden itself. I'm glad that I did not choose to use that tractor, because that's like a 24, 25 horsepower tractor, and our Mahindra's 50 horsepower. And even with the 50 horsepower, once I set that tiller in the ground, you could hear the motor bogging a little bit, but it overall did a great job. I can't complain with it. I had a lot of fun doing it. But as you can see, guys, that's how it turned out. And as you can see, we're just putting some manure on there. I know it's not the cleanest stuff. Like as you can see, there's a little piece of a plastic bag right there. But like I said, that should just give us a nice planting base, and we're going to come back with the tiller and chop it all up anyways. So I'm going to get back on the Kubota and get back to putting some more manure on here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like down there. That helps me out a lot. If you want to see more, stick around and subscribe. But alright guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or a great rest of your afternoon. Whatever point you are at watching this, I hope the rest of whatever you're doing goes well. Alright guys, catch you in the next one. Alright?